Have you ever felt like there's something different about you? As if your life is governed by invisible forces, guiding you down paths that few understand? Perhaps you've heard that being one of the chosen is a gift, an unquestionable privilege. But what if I told you that many of the ideas you hold about this are wrong? The truth about the chosen is much deeper than you imagine. There are distorted concepts that may be preventing you from seeing your true purpose. And if you don't demystify them now, you run the risk of continuing to be lost without understanding why you've gone through so many challenges and trials. Today, we are going to reveal 3 myths about being chosen that need to be broken once and for all. These are beliefs that may be limiting your growth, causing you to doubt your own journey, and the reason why you've always felt different from others. Stay with me until the end, because this video can change your perspective on everything you've experienced so far. Hello, I'm Mario Perez from the Evidence of the Word channel, and if you've ever felt out of place in this world, questioning the real purpose of your existence, then this content was made for you. Now get ready, because the first myth we're going to debunk might surprise you. Myth number 1. Are the chosen given an easy life and privileged by God? Since childhood, you may have heard stories of special people endowed with a divine mission who seem to have everything in their favor. The idea of being chosen has been romanticized throughout the centuries, as if those who have a calling have a blessed life without difficulties, receiving everything on a silver platter. But stop and think for a moment. If you've ever felt chosen, why has your life been so difficult? The path of someone called to something greater is never simple. In fact, it's exactly the opposite. Great spiritual leaders, prophets and visionaries went through profound suffering before understanding their true mission. Moses was rejected by his own people before becoming a liberator. Joseph was betrayed by his brothers and sold into slavery before becoming governor. Even Jesus faced contempt, persecution and pain before fulfilling his purpose. What does this mean? That the pain, difficulties and challenges you face are not signs that God has abandoned you. On the contrary, they are proof that you are being molded, refined, prepared. Every obstacle you've overcome has made you stronger. Every injustice you've suffered has shaped your faith. Every time you've felt alone, misunderstood or rejected, it was just a reminder that your path is not the same as everyone else's. And here's something few have the courage to admit. Being chosen is not a privilege. It's a responsibility. This means you will face trials that many could not endure, that you will be tested in ways that others will never understand. But it also means that at the end of this journey, you will be able to see beyond what ordinary eyes can see. Perhaps now you are asking yourself, if being chosen is so difficult, why does God allow it? And that's exactly the question we're going to address in the second myth. Myth number 2. If God chose you, shouldn't He protect you from suffering? This is one of the most dangerous and, at the same time, most widespread myths. The idea that, because you are chosen, God should spare you from suffering is a thought that can generate frustration and even distance many people from their spiritual journey. If God really chose you for a greater purpose, why would He allow you to go through so many struggles? Why the loneliness? Why the betrayals? Why the losses? The answer lies in the way God works. He doesn't take you out of the desert, but He strengthens you within it. The most difficult moments of your life were not punishments, they were training. Every tear you shed, every pain you faced, every door that closed was a preparation. Imagine a soldier who has never gone through training and is suddenly sent to war. He wouldn't survive the first confrontation. The same happens with the chosen. Training is necessary. God wouldn't call you to a great mission if He wasn't sure you could withstand the trials that would come with it. Suffering does not mean abandonment. It means refinement. Pure gold only becomes valuable after being refined in fire. A sword only becomes sharp after being forged and hammered, and a chosen one only becomes truly strong after being tested and approved. The truth is that the greatest chosen ones in history were those who suffered the most, and not because God abandoned them, but because He trusted that they would endure the battles and emerge even stronger. And now comes the most intriguing question. If suffering is part of the path, how do you know if you are truly chosen? This is a doubt that torments many, and the answer lies in the third and final myth that we are going to reveal now. Myth number 3. Do the chosen always know who they are and what their purpose is? If you've ever felt lost, not understanding exactly what you're doing in this world, you may have thought that this means you are not chosen. After all, if God really had a purpose for your life, you should already know what it is, right? Wrong. The great truth is that most of the chosen spend a good part of their lives without even knowing they are chosen. They feel different, that they don't fit in, that there's something bigger waiting for them, but they can't see it clearly. And here's something that can change your perspective. You don't discover your purpose finds you. And usually this happens in a way you don't expect. Often, the mission of a chosen one is only revealed after they have faced their greatest challenges. It is pain that opens the eyes. It is rejection that leads them to seek answers. It is the desert that prepares the heart to receive the truth. Joseph didn't know he would one day govern Egypt when he was sold into slavery by his brothers. Moses had no idea he would liberate an entire people when he fled into the desert. Even Jesus spent 30 years living in anonymity before starting his ministry. What does this mean? That uncertainty, doubt, and even the feeling of not belonging are part of the path. If you feel this way, it doesn't mean you are lost. It means you are being prepared, and when the right time comes, your purpose will be revealed. But before that, there's something you need to understand. Being chosen doesn't just mean receiving a mission, it means being willing to accept that mission. And the question you should ask yourself now is not, am I one of the chosen, but rather, am I ready to take on my calling? Because the truth is that most people spend their whole lives running away from it. And here we come to the most important moment of this video, the calling and the decision, the truth you need to see. Now that you know the truth about these 3 myths, you need to understand something even deeper. Being chosen is not about waiting for signs or ready-made answers. It's about recognizing who you really are and accepting your journey. Many people spend their entire lives searching for meaning, waiting for confirmation, wishing that someone or something would tell them exactly what to do. But the awakening of a chosen one doesn't happen like that. The awakening happens when you finally accept that everything you've experienced, every pain, every challenge, every rejection, was all part of a much bigger plan. The question that remains now is, are you ready to embrace who you truly are? Because the world needs you awake. The world needs your light, your strength, your experience. Everything you've been through has not been in vain. God does not waste suffering. He transforms pain into purpose, and that's what He wants to do with you now. But the decision is not in His hands, it's in yours. And now you have only 2 choices. Ignore this message and continue living as if nothing has changed. Or embrace the calling that is already within you and take the first step towards the life you were born to live. If this message touched your heart, comment below, I am one of the chosen. And don't forget, your journey doesn't end here. It's just beginning. Subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and share this video with anyone who needs to hear this truth, because the time for awakening is now.